Welcome back to Learning with me, Ms. Killen here at MPB. We are in Unit 10, Statistics with One Variable. We're looking at Lesson 7 today, which is measuring the spread of a box plot. I can interpret the results of comparing the shape, center, and spread of data sets in real-world scenarios. We are still looking at S-ID.2. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what we've got. Let's do some more practice. So we've got Tatum's soccer team and Riley's soccer teams are competing at the Soccer Fitness Challenge. Each team has to run a soccer obstacle course. Both teams' data are recorded. So we've got Tatum's team, which has their exact running times, and then Riley's team has been put into a box and whiskers plot. So what we want to do is answer these three questions. We need to read each of the statements, indicate which statements are true about the two teams. So first thing I want to do, since I know Rayleigh's is already made for us, let's go ahead and measure, or let's go ahead and number what these are. So we're going to label, this is our min, this is our Q1, this is our median or our middle, this is our Q3, and this is our max. Now, Tatum's team did not give us those numbers of information, so we're going to have to put them in our calculator. So go ahead and grab your calculator. I'm going to pull the one up here on the screen. Make sure that you've got your numbers for Tatum, and let's go ahead and plug them in. So here we go. I'm going to pull up our calculator. Let's go ahead and plug in Tatum's information. So I'm going to go to my statistic, and I'm going to go to number 1. If you have something in your list 1, make sure that you scroll up, you press clear and enter. So now let's go ahead and put. So I'm going to put 4.15. I'm going to put 5.22. I'm going to put 6.23, 4.33, 5.27, 6.38, 4.39, 5.42, 6.43, 4.52. We have 5.44. 7.06, 5.02, 5.58, I have 7.13, I have 5.11, I have 6.10, 7.55, 5.21, 6.16, and 7.59. You want to make sure that you look back at your numbers, that they are exactly what you have, because I just found one. This should be 6.10, so they just put the 6.1, so that's okay. So going back, making sure that all of my numbers are correct, and they are. So now I'm going to go back to my statistic button and scroll right to calculate and go to number 1, and it gives me my list of numbers. I have my mean at the top. I have my minimum, which is 4.5. I have my Q1 at 5.065, my middle or my median at 5.55. I have my Q3 at 6.405 and my max at 7.59. You want to make sure that you are understanding what all of these different symbols mean, what this minimum is, Q1, median, Q3, max, and this very top at 5.72. You want to know what these mean. Now, we know that we have a mean of 5.7. We have a median at 5.44, so those are very important numbers. So let's go back and look and see what it asks us. So it says Tatum's median is less than Rayleigh's median. So then Raylan's median is what? Let's say it's at 4.5. Now, what did we say that Tatum's was? So let's look back and see what Tatum's was. Tatum's median is 5.44. So we have 5.44. Is his less than? Well, no, it's not. Or is it? Tatum's is less than? No, it's not. So this is going to be false. His is more than. So it says the interquartile range of both are equal. Well, let's first get Rayleigh's interquartile range. We're going to take 8 and we're going to subtract 4 from that. and that's going to be a 4. Now let's go back and look at Tatum's. Let's see what Tatum gave us. So Tatum's is 6.4 and 5.0. So let's go back and look at that. 6.4 minus 5.0. So are those equal? No, they're not. That is false. It says the data of Rayleigh's team is skewed right. So is it skewed right? Let's see. We have our median, which is closer to our Q1 than it is to our Q3, and it's definitely not in the middle. So we could definitely say this is skewed right. Good job with interpreting that data of our parts on our calculator and looking at our box plot or our box and whiskers. Good job. All right, so now it's time for you to master. Make sure you completely read the passage. Remember what the IQR is. Remember what we know about min and max, Q1, median, and Q3. So here we go. The box and whiskers plot below display the distributions for the annual temperature in degrees Fahrenheit for Clinton and Petal. So here is what we're looking at. Clinton is the red box plot, Petal is the blue box plot. So before we start looking at the question, let's go ahead and label. We've got our min, we have our Q1, our median, our Q3, and our max. So then let's look at Petal. So Petal's is going to be our min, our Q1, our median, our Q3, and our max. So now that we see what number is what, let's go to the question. Which statements are true? Clinton's top 25% of temps are higher than over half of Petal's temps. Petal has a higher Q1 than Clinton's Q1. Both towns' IQRs are equal. Petal's median and Clinton's max are equal. So you and your table partner, go ahead, look at the data, look at the questions, see what you got, compare, and then come back to me and we'll see what we're going to do. All right, now that you've had time, now that you and your table partner have looked at this, let's see what we can come up with. So it says Clinton's top 25% temperatures are higher than over half. So here is Clinton's top 25%. And it's saying it's higher than over half? Absolutely not. It's actually lower than 50% of Petal's data. So I know this is not the answer. Let's look at B. Petal has a higher Q1 than Clinton's Q1. So Petal's Q1 is at 70 and Clinton's Q1 is about what, maybe 63? So that is true. That is an answer. So let's keep going because we always want to make sure that there's not going to be more than one if we see that S. Both towns' IQRs are equal. So let's figure out these IQRs. So let's go back to red. So I've got 80 and I've got, we said was 63. So when I take that 80 and I subtract that 63 from it, I get 17. So then let's look at our IQR for Petal, and we are going to get, let me get a different color. So we've got, that's about what, 92, and this one's going to be about 70. So when I take that 92 and subtract that 70 from it, I get 22. Well, they are no way near shape, form, or fashion equal. So this is not the answer. So now let's look at D. Petal's median, we're looking at the median for Petal, which is what, 85, and Clinton's maximum, which is right here, which is 85, and they are equal. So this is exactly true. They are equal. So we want to make sure that we are being able to read both of these box plots to answer these questions. Good job. Let's remember how to put a box plot in our calculator. Remember, we're putting our list 1 as our data numbers. Our list 2 is the frequency that we see these numbers. We go to our stat plot and turn it on our graph, and then we look. We can go to zoom 9 and see what exactly the numbers are. So what I want to do is I want to take these numbers down here in this blue box. I want to take them and put them in the calculator, making sure that we are understanding how to put these in our calculator. So let's pull the calculator back up. We're going to go to statistics. We're going to go to number 1. And let's put them in. So I'm going to put 5, 11, 15, 16, 17, 19, 21, 22, 24, 25, and 30. Now, in my L2, it's the frequency that I see these numbers. So let's go ahead. We had 2 5s, we had 4 11s, we had 1 15, 1 16, 2 17s, 2 19s, 1 21, 3 22s, 2 24s, 1 25, and 1 30. So what I want to do now is do second stat plot, which is in blue. We're going to go to our number 1, and we're going to turn it on by pressing enter. Now I want to do that box and whiskers or that box plot, so I'm going to scroll down and over to the box plot and go to table, go to graph. I'm not quite seeing what I want to see, so I'm going to do zoom and go to number 9. Whoa, Ms. Killen, that's not exactly what we wanted to see. Well, let's see if I press the right button. Let's go back to second, go to number 1. We're going to go turn this on and go down and go over to, I need to make sure I press that one. Depending on which one of the types you press depends on what's going to pop up on your graph. So now let's go to graph. There it is. So now let's zoom in to see what our different numbers are and go to trace. Our median is 19, Q1's 15, minimum is 5. Q3 is 24, max is 30. So as long as we can remember how to plug this into our calculator, this is yet another tool in our toolbox to help us with this Algebra 1. We don't want to forget how we read a box plot, those 5 number summaries. Where do the percentages come from? Okay, first 25 is from min to our Q1. The next 25% is from Q1 to our median or our middle. The third 25% is from our middle to our Q3, and that last top 25% is from Q3 to our max. What did we say our IQR is? That's our interquartile range. Q3 minus Q1. How do we put this in the calculator? How do we calculate that IQR? Okay, what is the difference between the mean and the median? Remember, the median is the middle. The mean is the average. And how do we put the data in our calculator to graph this box plot? We just did that. You do not want to forget those steps. I am so glad that you've joined me for working for this lesson in our box plot of our statistics. I want you to, as always, have a great day.